Sorry for the wet hair in these. It looks a little ratty. Wet hair and crystals. But you know what? Do I care? Not very much. Okay, I have another one for you. Oh, this is the third from that day, 6/12. And the Mayan day is 7 star or rabbit. Know that you are perfect. Quick, go within right now. Find yourself there in heart. You are always there. It's just a matter of shifting your focus, your view. It's in where you place your ray of attention. See? Now, connect up with that aspect of you that never came all the way down into 3D. That ultimate perfection that always just is, unchanging. That is you too, beloved Sourcebeam. It's good to visit this space at least once every day. Now that you're here, I have something to share with you. From this space, this vantage point, you are everywhere at once. Stay out of mind with it. All you need do is believe, and you can experience this. How could it be otherwise when you are divine? Do keep mind out. Mind would just love to go in and catalog every fact and figure and get the answers to all of its endless questions, and so on and so on and blah blah. Let mind go. It hasn't been your friend up to now. It can be, but it requires some training. And to do that, you must be focused in heart, in that higher aspect of you. Get some distance. What you'll find is that mind hasn't a clue about how heart works, what it thinks, how it sees things. All mind can see is its own view, which is natural, nothing wrong with that. It's just not good enough for those of us in process of transcending 3D. Mind is way too anchored to 3D at this point. In order to make the necessary shift and changes, we have to step back from mind to let it go. It's important to get some me time in which mind isn't present. Let it go off and do its thing. You go and do yours. It's time to dis-identify from the mind. This is more of that third person point of view, leaving the whole first person thing behind. Strange but true. That old me, myself, and I thing, hey, bears looking into. Mind cannot help you grasp your ultimate vastness. Mind is a creature of solids, of length and of width, of height and of time, of 3D, in other words. For your multi-dimensional journeying, you can leave it either behind or very much in the back seat. If it misbehaves, threaten to muzzle it or make it wear the dunce cap for a bit. Otherwise, just learn to ignore. It's a skill. Seen from your great expansiveness, and remember, you are literally as if in superposition everywhere. Seen from there, this 3D life of yours looks distinctly different. Shifting perspectives like this now and then helps take the pressure off, I have found. We get so very into things that we blow them all out of proportion most times. Look at any recent spat you've had with anyone. What was it over? Was it so important that it deserved sharp words? Likely not. People are more important than anything. Well, let me say beings are more important, since There are many more sorts of beings around than just us in human form. It's relationships that count in the end. The very most important one might surprise you. It's your relationship with yourself. If that doesn't come first, things won't follow the way you want them to. So in the end, we're almost forced to begin to nurture the self. We often find this out with age. Life will simply refuse to go as we'd like until we learn to turn within. Then things can start to change, and really fast too. I doubt we'd have gotten such fast results in the last century. Everything all around is in the midst of one huge acceleration into who knows what, and we're along for the ride. We're playing our parts, actually, in 3D. This just isn't the most important aspect of our being. Now, for many, that's a surprise. In their consciousness, they've limited who and what they are to their 3D-ness. The fullness of who and what you are just doesn't fit into 3D. It would blow the circuits of your biology. So, in order to commune with that, you'll have to make the trek within, however it is that you do that. For me, of course, it's entering heart. In the end, wait. Yet another phrase that's on its way out of my vocabulary. There is no end. So, in the end has to go. Eventually, we discover that there is really nothing out there. It's all a seeming, a holographic reality or playground. Cut it up, each piece contains the whole. Have you ever just completely lost yourself in a movie or maybe in a video game? Sure you have. It's like that. We lost ourselves in this virtual reality. It's that greater self to which many of us are now waking up. It's a bit of an adjustment to make, just like coming back to reality after the movie or the video game can be a bit of a bummer for a short while. So can this, and in spades. We got so thoroughly into our parts in this grand drama that we well and truly believed in them. Oh my God, what an adjustment to make. Back to being what? Being divine? It's amazing. So, no wonder people resist life, resist what comes in on the flow of their now. From the level of 3D, life's awesome perfection just isn't seen. You don't have to take my word either, as Einstein said it so beautifully. You don't solve something by staying on the same level with it. You shift away. This ultimately beautiful but beyond beautiful view of life is something with which I'd like to gift everyone. But that can't be done. It's like wanting the ETs to come in and save the day, clean up the environment, and all that. It's giving our power away to someone or something else. In the end, it's better for the planet to fail than to hamstring divine beings that way. Can you see this? If not, then rise up higher in your own consciousness, or go deeper within, same thing. You are divine. This reality, Earth in 3D, is very much your creation, your toy, and your joy. Those bodies, they are not real. They are not you anyway. There are no such thing as people, my friends. It's a construct we built for ourselves to play this game. Back away, back way away, and get a broader view. And it's okay if that one is too broad. It's all right. It's just something to consider the possibility of. It's okay not to be ready or able to see the full view of this. I don't. Not yet. I just see it around the edges, and those edges keep creeping out farther and farther, so incrementally my vision keeps expanding. Yet I take so much, so very much from what I now see that helps me readjust the 3D life I've been living. Just let the idea that life, just exactly as it is simply awesome and perfect. Let that idea enter your being. Let it be true that this is a legitimate perspective that one can take up. If we can open the door to such things, that's all that's needed, my friends. Our own higher self will take it from there. Once our vision is turned inward, we're well on our way. You've got to give yourself permission. It was our outward-focused vision that kept us enthralled to the matrix and the grand drama. As long as we let mind feast on all there was out there for it, we would never be free, not totally free. Mind would keep us too occupied with whatever is the flavor or style of the day. Do you see the latest idea? It's the endless hamster wheeling we can do. Once we step back from mind, though, once we realize this is something we can do even, that opens a major door to adventure. And this is where surrender comes in handy. Since you pretty much have to give up your first-person position on life. That's to be in the matrix. Do you see? That's how that game is played, sucking us in. When we can begin to stand back now and then for a time and just observe, that's when the shackles start to come crashing off, hit the ground, dissolving away. It gets pretty trippy, I must admit. Some don't make it past this initial point. If they only knew about heart, I feel strongly that they would. Heart is always there for you. It's just a matter of taking advantage of it. When you're in prison all your life, without ever knowing you've had the key in your breast pocket all the time, well, that key isn't doing you much good, is it? So what if you have it? The point is to use it. That's also why no one else can get awakened for you. It's very much a do-it-yourself thing. You've got to apply what you learn. Mental knowing alone will not take you where you're going. The sheeple and sleeple are still stuck in believing in mental knowing. Those are the enlightened egos all around, preaching to the rest of us. And their intentions are good, their hearts are beautiful, but that won't make up for what they lack. They have achieved a mental awakening that has truly changed their life, but it's not enough. It's not the real deal. We somehow sense it when we run on one of these teachers. Many of them are rather new age, but I don't like seeing that whole thing condemned as so many are willing and quick to do. The new age are people who are willing to open their minds perhaps a good bit farther than the herd, farther than most, and I won't put them down for it. I say hurrah! Follow your path. You'll get where you're going eventually, likely quicker than most. There's no need to condemn any other path. Besides, that was the path I used to walk out of Catholic Orthodoxy. Well, not that I was Greek Orthodox, I just mean out of the whole religious scene. It took really breaking down some major barriers in my mind and my upbringing. And the whole New Age thing was just wild enough to get that done. And then, once that happened, I was far more open to all of the rest. People just quit too soon. Thinking they've somehow arrived, they stop their inward and onward motion, they come to rest, and they turn around and start to teach. Then, too, many of us are awakening to new talents and abilities, including ESP and the like. So, many people wind up caught up in those loops, thinking they've already found what they sought. I think in the East these might be called cities, and people, S-I-D-D-I, I think, people get lost in them. Celestial gifts, if you will. They're nothing ultimate. It's something Papa G always just shoved very much aside. He had many powers that used to appear, things would magnetize for him and around him, and he purposefully turned it off. He didn't want any part of it. So it can be very distracting. It's something that tantalizes people's minds. So let's not put anyone's path down. That isn't called for, especially when we come to realize that we need to just focus on self first and foremost. We can cut everyone else plenty of slack. The less mud we sling around via our language, the better for the whole. Just cleaning up your own use of words makes a difference, my friends. You notice me doing it all the time. Remember, language structures consciousness. So let's all be watchful of what comes out of our mouth. It seems like about every other journal, I find yet another phrase or saying or word to throw out. Language structures consciousness, even just due to the sound, but also to the thought stream it carries. By watching our language, we're one step closer to watching our thoughts. This is self-observing. Many people are too disappointed in 3D life, too depressed or saddened by man's barbaric cruelty to others, to man, to planet, to animals, to all of it. So they've just given up. They don't want to hear anything about someone saying everything is well and truly awesomely beautiful. They think it's just crazy. Well, let them alone. That's my advice. They'll be ready for it when they're ready. And meanwhile, your interfering won't move them along any faster. We all have our own higher self at work with us. All is well. There's a reason they're there. They're being that. They're doing that. There's something that's not yet accomplished with it. They too are divine. It's just that their key remains pocketed for the moment, but it won't always be. And besides, that's to make a judgment. We've got no business judging anyone or anything, looking down on anyone or anything. So let's catch ourselves when we're doing that. We don't know from nothing what should be in someone else's life, and it's none of our business. If you really want to do something for someone who has views like that, stop, step back from it. No hard feelings can be allowed in this, and find your own center. Now, from there, send that person an arc of real love from your heart, of caring support, of kindness, of compassion. This can be quite powerful. We're divine, remember? We're also alchemists of the highest order on the higher planes. We just forgot. So, don't push them around with your thoughts. Just send them pure love. It's enough. Just like taming a wild dog or other animal that's been abused and is terribly aggressive, you don't go forward extending your hand when she's in that state. It takes gentleness and time and a good bit of wisdom thrown in, right? If your hand gets bitten, my friend, it's not the fault of the dog. Come on, let's take real responsibility for the self. We can do this. We are turning this planet around, and it won't be by some namby-pamby or wishy-washy mental games this gets done. If we take a closer look, we see that that only puffs up the ego. It takes each one coming into their own true age of majority, into what amounts to a new birth. Seriously, isn't that what this is? It's like we're being born into a whole new world and a whole new us. Well, it is for me. I hope your vision can expand so it can be for you too. This is serious stuff and massive, massive change. I wrote down that it's possible. I'm going to say massive change is happening. And in the blink of an eye, just allow anything to be possible, and you've made the first and the biggest step. Namaste.